Well, okay now. Okay, maybe I'm just gonna put this out there. Maybe Django ain't so bad. I'm just gonna put it on the table. Maybe Django is actually kind of nice. Don't blame the technology for the idiocy of the teacher. Do remember that in the real world, there is a difference between the teacher and the technology. The teacher can be a complete jackass, but the technology can actually be kind of nice. I'm just gonna put that on the table. So, anyways, here is a crappy app. This is what we call a crappy app. This is one of the things I try to get to as quickly as possible in any type of technology that I'm trying to learn. Is basically kind of like a proof of concept. Like once I can do this, I know I can do the rest. So if you have like a voice over IP telephone system, once you can connect a trunk line, once you can connect at least one VoIP client, once you can get a call in, once you can get a call out, then you know you can toss on another 500 VoIP clients. You know you can add a number of different trunks. Once you get that basic concept down, you can go from there. And so I've been playing with Django now, DJANGO, the Python web framework. And I've been losing my mind a little bit because, well, the tutorials I was using were kind of horrible, and trying to figure all this stuff out with horrible tutorials can be a pain in the butt. But I have now. I think I'm feeling pretty comfortable with this. So I created a crappy little notes app here, right? So the idea is that I can create notes and then edit those notes, right? So I can go. This is all in Django, no PHP here. So I can do an add a note. And I can say, let's see, I can do a video note, and I can say this is on a video, and I can do a status of open, and then I can hit submit. And look at that, video note. This is on a video. And then if I want to edit, I can simply click on that. You'll notice everything pops up. The values are already populated. And I can say, yay! I can hit submit. And there we go. We have our nice little edit there. So from here, I can add delete. From here, when I edit the notes, I can have the status be a drop down, right? So note. So this here, basically, I want a text area instead of a text box. That's just a little bit of HTML. For this, I want to, what's it called, an option box? And anyways, drop down, I can just add a drop down. And basically, I want a timestamp. I do have to figure out the timestamps, but timestamps shouldn't be very difficult. But this gives me the basics on how to do this. So this is pretty cool. And Django might not be. That might not be the worst thing in the world. I am kind of understanding this whole MVC, the model. It's the model view controller. So your model is your database, right? So I created a table in the database I've been using so far today, a notes table. So basically the title is a character field of up to 255 characters. The node itself is a character field of up to 255 characters. And there's the status as a character field where I just put the 15, right? So this is where you put your data types. So if you wanted to put a timestamp here, if you want to put an int here, all the different data types, this is where you do it. Once you do this, you then go to the command line. So there's a command line thing. And then what do? I haven't memorized it yet. Anyways, it's like you do like migrate database or something, or migrate models. You do, basically what you do is you type in one command, something like that. You type in one command, and what that command does is it literally basically creates a SQL statement out of what you've modified here. Once it's created that SQL statement, you then run another command. It runs that SQL statement against the SQLite that's already installed into Django, and everything works great. One of the nice things, oh my golly, I do have to say, what's one of the nice things? I'll admit it's nice, is when you modify this, all you do is you run those two commands again, and it just does what it's supposed to do. So when you need to alter the table, instead of going through the whole alter with the SQL, you just edit this here, you run those two commands, and then it alters the table for you. If you need to delete, if you need to add, if you need to change your data type, I was playing around with a timestamp. Again, I still have to figure out the timestamp. I was playing around with the timestamp and was screwing around with the timestamp data type. And what's awesome is I could just change the data type and then just rerun the commands, and it would just go through. So that was very nice. The URLs, this is about as mess as it normally is. Again, don't ignore all that up there. So I have the note. So the note is what shows us the main page. We have the add note form. We actually have the add the note, edit the notes, the whole 9 yards. That's all here. I'm feeling comfortable with that. I need to get my syntax better. That's one thing too, is there's understanding the technology and then cleaning up your syntax. I'm at the point now that I really need to clean up my syntax. I'm writing it. But then the rest of that's kind of cool. All right, so we have a template, right? So basically with the views file, right? This is a views.py file. So what you do is you grab a template. So we're going to grab the note.html template. And this is the note.html template here. So it extends on something called master.html. We have a block title. And then basically what we do here is notes, right? So notes, for x in notes. So this is essentially how Python does a for each loop. So for every value in the x list, we are going to print out a href. We're going to print out a hyperlink that allows us to edit. Then we're going to print out the title, so x.title. So this index points title, this index points note, this index points status. All right, that's what we get here. X.title is video note, X.note is the note, X.status is this. And basically it's going to continue to loop through until it's done. One of the interesting things here is it's for x in notes, again, with the Django syntax. So this is Django code. So the for x in notes, right? So that's Python. But then with the squiggle and the parentheses and the in for, that part is actually the Django. But then once you kind of get used to it, it gets a lot better, and you can do that. And then we just end the block here. Basically, and then you go down here. So when you so template is the template. Then notes. So this is where we do the query against our database. So note.objects, so note is the table, objects all, order by negative ID. So even though we don't create an ID when we're creating the models, right? You'll notice there's no ID here, but it creates an ID for you. Negative ID means reverse order. So basically the newest note shows up first. And then dot values, what dot values means, it gives all the columns in the table. Context equals, and so then notes is again basically going to equal everything that came in from notes. So this is going to be a list. So notes is going to be a list. That list is going to be sent here, which is going to print everything out, right? When we go to here, so see x, so it's a list. So we're basically iterating through a list, x.id, x.title, so on and so forth. So that's pretty cool. Then we go to the add note form. So basically when we click on this, that's going to add the note form. We're going to notice that there's not a lot here. Basically, we just get the template. And we're essentially just going to send to a blank template because we're adding a note, right? There's nothing here. We have an action, we have a post. This token thing here is for to protect against cross-site scripting. And then we just have it, basically, we just have a very, very crappy form here. A very crappy form. When we hit the submit for that very crappy form, that's going to go down here. And so basically I just x equals request.post. So basically we're just grabbing the post value for title. Y equals request.post, the value for note. Z equals request.post, the value for status. Note equals, and then basically for the database, it's note title equals x, note equals y, status equals z, and then note.save. and then it redirects, essentially, it's just going to redirect back to the main page. So that's it. So it just grabs the post values and then dumps it. Then you basically create essentially the statement, and then you essentially save the statement, and that's done. That's it. That's pretty cool. Now down here for the edit, so we go click and we do on an edit. We want to do that, right? So basically here, when you click on the edit, you're going to grab the ID. Edit note form. There we go. So we have the edit note form, right? So you're going to grab the ID. And so you're going to have the request and the ID. So that ID allows us to grab the record in the database. Note is going to equal note objects get ID equals ID. So basically this is where equals in SQL. This is the where equal. We're going to get the template of edit note. The context, note underscore data, is going to be a list of everything in note, basically that we grabbed from that record. And then we're going to send this to the edit.note.html. And if we look here, basically what this looks like, so form action, blase, blase, blase. And then if we go here, so title equals value. So the value is the default value that's put in there. And so value is going to equal note underscore data dot title. Data note is going to be note underscore data dot note. Status is going to be note underscore data dot status, right? So we're going to submit. That's going to go to the edit note. And then we come down here to the edit note. We have the hidden field for the post ID. All right, so up here we have hidden. And so basically we see the title, we see the note, we see the status, but we still need to be able to track the information, basically make sure we update the right record. So here I have a hidden value. That's simply the ID of the record we're dealing with. That is note underscore ID. So when we come here, X is going to equal ID, Y is going to equal title, Z is going to equal note, A is going to equal status. Again, don't worry about the syntax, it just works. So note equals, so this is going to be basically the variable we're going to be dealing with, note equals dot objects dot get ID X. So we're going to go in and we're going to look for the record, that's ID of the value that came in. Then we're going to say, once we have that note.title is going to equal Y, note.note is going to equal Z, and note.status is going to equal A. We are then going to save, and then we're going to return, basically we're going to redirect back to the main page. So yeah, so we're now playing with the database. We're now playing with the database, and I gotta say, I'm getting one over. I gotta admit it. I'm getting one over. I kind of like how this works. Now, one of the things you have to realize when you're looking through all this is a bit of a disaster, because I've been working with the same project for all these different things I've been playing with. So you can see testing and main and all kinds of different stuff. So when we look at the URLs script here or page, and we look at the views page, it is a complete crap show, simply because everything I've been playing with is here. But if you start ignoring the crap that isn't part of this project and only focus on what is part of this project, what you'll start to notice is that it's actually pretty simple, anyways, to understand the logic of what's going on. And what's nice here then is, so the template pages, right? So the templates are simply how everything is shown. So that's good. So you can just simply design the templates, and the templates are on their own. Then the views, right? This is where you grab the template and you deal with the logic of the database. So you can just sit here and you can just focus on this without focusing on the page that you're dealing with. And then the URL is a bit of a pain in the butt. But I mean, one of the nice things with the URLs, I do have to say, one of the nice things with the URLs is it's very easy to see what pages you're dealing with, right? If you ever open up WordPress, so if you go and you open up WordPress, or if you go and you open up any kind of project with PHP, one of the big problems is simply to understand what the hell you're looking at, because you just have a bunch of files, right? You put files, and then you do search, .php or something, and a whole bunch of things show up, and you're not sure what is a script. You're not sure what is a script. You're not sure what is a page. right? Because everything's PHP. So I can have a form that's .php that sends the values to a .php script that then dumps those values into a database. I can have one script pull values out of a database, send those values over to a different script, do something somewhere. So sometimes it can be very difficult just to understand the pages that you're dealing with. And so what's nice here is that you do start to, you can separate things out. It's like, okay, so these are the pages or such. These are the URLs that you're going to deal with. And then once you know that, this is the logic that you're going to deal with. And then once you understand that or whatever, these are the templates. So one person can work on templates, one person can work on logic, one person can work on URLs. So yeah, I'll admit it. I'll admit it. I'm kind of liking it. But that's day 4. We'll see what I say on day 5. So the next part, I do have to figure out like what is my realish app that I'm going to create. I'm kind of siding to a chores app. My wife and I, even though we're adults, we don't necessarily do all the chores we're supposed to do. So one of the things I'm kind of thinking, so one of the nice parts with Django too, is the user component, right? So we can get this to show up, we get the database. One of the big things is you're supposed to be able to rapidly deploy an app with user accounts. So that's where I'm thinking is maybe I'm going to create a chores app for my wife and I. And so that way, then I can create user accounts. So basically, I can have something like this for chores. So I can have a timestamp, and basically, if the time is over a certain amount of time, it tells us when we need to do certain chores. One of us, we can select which chores we want to do, and then we see what chores that we're doing. But the nice part about doing like that chore thing, especially with my wife, is that will then allow me to play with the whole user account, user creation system on here, which is really, I think that's the last big hurrah. Like everything past the user account creation, as far as I understand, is just, it's just the tediousness of building this crap out. So that'll probably be the next thing. So anyways, just to show you what the real world of technology can be like. If you've been following me along with these Django projects, I literally started last Wednesday. This is now Monday. I did not work at all on the weekend. I've been spending about 2 hours a day playing with this. So I am literally at this place at approximately 8 hours of playing around. And so the other valuable thing about showing you this is why young people can move very fast in the technology field, is because if you stop whining, you stop complaining and bitching like I do, and you just sit there and you work on projects, what you'll realize is you can get up to speed ridiculously quickly. Right? So again, imagine if you're a teenager. Imagine if you're a teenager and you're not like me and you don't have to walk the dog and you don't have to worry about mortgages or anything like that. If I had just spent 10 hours a day, right? I could have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I could have put in 60 hours of playing with this by now, and I could literally create the next crappy ass Instagram. Like it really, like that's, again, I'm trying to show you guys, technology is not that big a deal. Everybody just wants to make it a big a deal. And the important thing is, like, if you just have the time to sit down and knock this crap out and learn and have an idea of what kind of problems you're trying to solve, it is amazing how fast you can go. Because everything you're looking at here, like, oh, this looks garbage, but you just have to understand, this is CSS, right? If I sit down and I do some CSS formatting or whatever, I can make this all pretty and I can make this like, but CSS is just, that's just tedious crap, just dealing with it. The core functionality is just actually relatively easy to get up and running. So anyways, yet another day in the Django world. Do make sure to thumb up or thumb down, leave a comment, subscribe, do all of that kind of stuff, and I'll see you all tomorrow.